I am Dani Nicole, and I am the host of the Book Talk Author Visibility Podcast. And on this evening, I have the pleasure of speaking with Paula Banks. She is an author. So I'm going to go ahead and send it over to Paula. She can introduce herself, tell us where she's from, and the book we'll be talking about today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paula Banks. I am a children's book author, creative educator, publisher. And the book that we will be talking about today is Story Hustle, How to Raise a Confident Storyteller, even if you are not a writer.
That sounds really good. So what inspired you to write the book?
So what inspired me was when I was growing up, I was very shy. I didn't use my voice much, even if I felt like what I had to say would be important. And I love to write. And some people don't see the correlation between the two, but storytelling allows you to tell your story. It allows you to get your thoughts on paper. And I wanted to empower kids who were like me to let them know now that their voice is important and the stories that they want to tell are important. And I had to go to the parents as well. I had to show them how to nurture their child's voice, because growing up, we have a lot of generational language that we use that tends to shut down a child's voice. So Story Hustle is to kind of guide them and navigate them, just little things that they can do to keep their child's voice alive, to keep their storytelling, bring up their confidence without intentionally tearing it down.
Absolutely. I can relate to that. As a young girl, I've always wanted to write as well. Growing up at the time I grew up, that wasn't something you did. It just, I guess, my parents just weren't educated enough to understand that being a writer or whatever arts,
Exactly.
it didn't pay the bills, right?
Exactly.
You need a job. Like, you need the job to do this and do that. So I know what that's like to, as a child, want to find your voice. So
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Thank you.
Who is the book for?
The book is for parents who have children who are creative, who love to read, who love to write, who express themselves not just in traditional storytelling way with pen to paper, but they love to dance, act, sing, rap. All these things are forms of storytelling. And this book helps them, guide them to nurture their child's voice, to be their biggest cheerleader, how to tweak certain things, that our parents said to us that probably not intentionally shut our voice down, you talk too much or be quiet, or, like you said, writing is not a real job. Things of that nature can really stifle a child's voice. And then they start to think, well, you know what, I might as well just be quiet, because every time I say something or have an opinion about something, I'm told to be quiet. And that carries on with you into adulthood. So parents don't do it intentionally. It's just that, life is life, and they're busy. And this is just the thing that they were said. So it's just passed down. So this book helps stop that cycle and just gives them different alternatives to help their child come out of their shell and to be more creative, and to gain confidence. So that is who the book is for, parents.
So what was the hardest part of writing or even releasing a book? Or was it a challenge to do?
Challenged a little bit, just because I had to just remember things that I've been through as a child. And it was hard for me because it really bothers me to think that other kids felt the way that I felt growing up, as far as not thinking that their voice mattered. And it just brought up a lot of different emotions when I had to do that. And I wished that my mom had something like this to help her. But she was a single mom. She was working. She had 2 kids. She didn't really have time to nurture our voices for storytelling. You know what I'm saying? So I think just having to, relive those feelings, and how there are kids out there today who still feel like they don't have a voice. So I think that was the hardest part as far as writing the book, just bringing up old feelings.
So I know you I have a publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
So was the book published through you, or did you go outside of that, or did you self-publish?
The book is published through my publishing imprint, Eon Books Publishing. And that is just, for me, that is amazing. When I first started this journey, I just wanted to write one children's book, and it has evolved into something totally different than what I imagined. And Eon Books is really for people and children who have stories that they want to tell. We focus a lot on children's books. That's what I love to do. And it's just an extension of using my voice and helping others use their voice. But yes, I did publish it under my imprint.
So what did the book teach you about yourself?
It taught me that I am still a work in progress. Believe it or not, I am still trying to wrap my head around the fact that I am someone who struggles with their voice, even to this day, is being used to help children with their voices. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it sometimes, but that is just what God has chosen me to do. Every day I am trying to know that this is not just me doing this for others. I'm actually healing myself in a lot of ways with this. So, yeah.
So what do you hope readers receive from reading your book?
Hope they receive parents. I want parents to know that I'm not trying to give them something extra to do or add another to-do thing to their list of a bunch of things. This book is simply for them to see that there is another way to communicate with your child or encourage your child. Just little tweaks here and there, change out a sentence, a word, be more attentive. It's just being more intentional is the message of the book. To be more intentional when you are interacting with your child and when they're trying to share something with you. But yeah, this book is strictly to help them nurture their child's voice and in a way heal their own as well.
And so you had mentioned that the publishing company mainly focuses on children's books, but have you thought about doing any other genre than children, or that just might be the path?
No, so I've done 4 children's books. I plan to release another one this year, but I am currently writing a faith-based book and it will be out in July. And it's really about my walk with Christ and how I've been in this season and how he's moving and changing things in my life. So that is my first full book that is not a children's book. This is a totally different genre for me. So that will be my first non-children's book this year.
Great. That's great. I look forward to hearing from you on that and seeing what unfolds. That's great to hear that you're moving forward in that direction as well. So when did you start feeling confident to call yourself an author?
Let me tell you, I think author is the one title that I'm pretty confident in calling myself. I guess because I always thought like if you publish a book, you're an author, which is true. So I don't think I really had a problem calling myself an author. I have more hesitation when I call myself a publisher or a creative educator. And that is not because I don't believe that I am. It's just that these are all new titles and new things in my life. So I'm still getting accustomed to just all these blessings that God has put upon me and assignments that I'm doing. So yeah, author was the easiest title for me to take on.
Okay. So you had mentioned the children's book. You have the faith-based book coming out. What else is out? What else is next for Paula? You're moving here.
You know what? I've been trying to, I don't know, whatever, God has really opened a lot of doors. In March is a busy month. I have 3 speaking engagements. I was invited to speak on different topics. I have a workshop that I got a grant for my Books by Me workshop for kids, a writing class, and then they will become published authors. So that starts in March for 4 weeks. So I'm really focused on that, writing the book, doing a little, some other things with Eon Creative Studio. I'm working on a little something with that. So I have a lot of things behind the scenes. I'm just here to, wherever God is choosing to use me at and where he puts me. I mean, so far he has blessed me. He has turned my life around. So I'm only waiting to see what else he has next. But I'm pretty busy. Then we have Moments for Moms coming up and, volume 5. So yeah, I'm blessed and busy for sure.
Yes, for sure. For sure. So what is one word, maybe of advice or encouragement you could give to another author?
My advice would be to write, get your book, but also while you're doing that, don't not put it like this. When you are writing your manuscript, make sure you're doing the back end work as well. Make sure before you launch, you have a website, you have a way to collect leads or information about, possible readers. Those things are very important. And then when you wait to do them at the end, when you wait to do them after you finish your book, it just makes things a little bit harder. So put those things in place. I know a lot of us as authors, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know about, I needed a website. I needed, how to collect emails, none of those things, but those things are important. And when you start building them in the process of you're writing your book, so when launch day comes around, you're ready to direct traffic to your website or wherever you want to, direct them. But you need to have some basic foundational things in place behind the scenes.
Great. Thank you for that. So where can listeners connect and support you?
So my website I have my author website is paulabanks.com. And then I have my publishing website is EION books.com. I am also on Instagram at author Paula Banks and at Eon Books on Instagram, and Facebook and Paula Watkins Banks.
Great. Thank you. So you heard it here, listeners. So I need you to like, follow, comment, and share on the podcast that will be dropping each week. There's a new author that's sharing their writing journey. And I want to thank Paula for being on my podcast tonight. Paula and I are sisters in the Lord, and we are working together on this upcoming anthology. It's been a pleasure speaking with her tonight, and I really appreciate you, Paula.
Thank you for having me. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, and you have a great night.
You as well.